Hello and welcome back to Gardening and Allotment Tips podcast, hosted by Gardening with Ben. If you've not checked out my main podcast channel, please do check it out. It's called Gardening with Ben. You just search for it in any platform or even ask Alexa, play Gardening with Ben, and she will start playing it for you. There's over 149 episodes on that podcast for you to listen to, so quite a lot to catch up on if you've never listened to it before. And these ones are our second podcast channel where we're just talking about different gardening tips and advice each and every episode. So if you've not subscribed to this podcast, do click subscribe and you will get notified when new podcasts come up, and they are published on a regular basis, so you've always plenty to listen to on the move or on the allotment or while you're walking the dog. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to get an allotment. And yes, that can be a very tricky subject because allotments are very much in demand, especially at the moment and since the coronavirus lockdown, really, because it's so important growing your own fruit and vegetables, and more people are wanting to do it. And the problem is that a lot of houses nowadays are not built with big gardens, so they've got little space in which they can try and grow stuff. So hence the reason why allotments are starting to get more and more popular, because people have that smaller gardens, they can't grow their own stuff there. So the waiting lists are getting longer again, and more people are wanting to learn how to grow their own fruit and vegetables. So it's exciting because more and more people are listening to this podcast and discovering it and learning new gardening and allotment tips. And I like to share lots of tips and advice on my Facebook page, Gardening with Ben, and on Instagram as well. So if you've not followed me on them, make sure you do. So how exactly do you get an allotment? Well, there's two ways of getting an allotment. There's two types of allotments, and the first method is a council owned allotment site, which obviously the council run and you pay the council a rent and they are practically your landlord in sense. Or the other method is a private allotment, and this is usually owned by a private owner, and they will sometimes have a committee who take care of the allotment site, and you will pay them the rent. But in both circumstances, allotments both have rules, and the rules must be followed or you may face eviction. And I know the council definitely have rules. They like to keep your allotments in general good state. You've got to have so much cultivated. You can only have so many percentage of flowers versus vegetables versus fruit, and you can't, some allotment sites don't allow you to have structures on them or use concrete for bases for sheds and greenhouses. So yeah, there is rules and methods. So if you're looking at getting a allotment, my main big tip first is have a look around and see what allotment sites are near you. If you just Google it, like allotments in Liverpool or etc, it will bring you up where the nearest allotment sites are. So it will give you options of council allotments or private allotments. Now when you're looking for an allotment, you need to look specifically, I would say, for an allotment that has water on site, running water. Yes, you can have storage containers to save your water in, etc, but they won't hold enough, especially in a hot summer drought period, and we have had them, trust me. I know what it's like to go to the allotment site and water every single day, sometimes twice a day, especially if you're growing tomatoes and stuff like that. So always have a look around at allotment sites that have water, and that's near a tap near your plot, if hopefully. And the best thing to do is then go to either the council or the private allotment owner and put your name down on the list for an allotment. That's the first task. Get your name down on the allotment list. Show that you are interested in having your own allotment to start growing that fantastic fruit and vegetables and organic vegetables. So first off is to get your name down on the list. Obviously then they'll turn around and they will say there is so many above you. There is a waiting list for these allotments because they're that popular again. There's waiting lists all over for allotment sites. So sometimes it's good to get your name down on a couple of sites, maybe not even a couple, maybe 3 or 4. Have a look around. There's plenty of allotment sites in and around the areas, even if it's a case of travelling. Obviously the best thing would be to have it just round the corner from you, as you can call there on the way to work, on the way home from work, maybe on your dinner break, and do the watering as and when needed. Obviously have different choices of allotment sites in the order that you want them. So once you've got your name down on that allotment list, how do you get yourself to the top of the waiting list? Well, the case of what I would suggest is regularly phoning up and seeing if any allotments have come up and see if any of them have become vacant, because sometimes they'll get in touch with tenants and it'll take them a while to get back or whether to accept them or not. So keep in contact with the council or the private landlord to see if any plots have come up. The best time to get in touch with them is also after the New Year's bills have been sent out, because sometimes people think, oh, I'm not going to be keeping on my plot. So they're like in April time when the bills go out for the new year, a lot of people tend to give up if they've had enough after the first year and they've not managed to win the war on the weeds. So people give up in April. So a good time to get in touch again is around April, May time, because they've given them their grace period to pay their bill, and if they've not paid the bill, they'll obviously evict them and it's back in the council's hands again, or the private landlords. So it's a good time to get in touch then. So that is my tips on how to get yourself an allotment, really. The earlier you can get your name down on that list, the better, really. If you're going to be mulling it over for a while whether you want to have an allotment or not, just get your name down on the list. It won't hurt. You can turn around and say, no, I don't want it, but always get your name down as fast as possible. And if they come back saying we've got such and such a plot, always go and do a check on the plot first and have a look and see what you think to it first before accepting it, because sometimes they can be in a really bad state when you get them. So make sure you inspect it first and see if you're going to be able to manage it. And a good time to go down to allotment sites is possibly at weekends, because there will be other allotment tenants down there and you can ask them any questions or issues that you want to find out about the allotment site. Just ask the tenants. A lot of tenants will have a chat with you and they'll talk to you and tell you about the allotment site and if they're safe or secure and if they get any issues on there. So it's good to go and speak to the tenants as well, because it's good to find out if they actually enjoy being on that site as well. And it's better getting the word from the people that are using it rather than the people that are renting it. So have a chat with them and get in touch with them. So yeah, that has been your podcast for today on tips on how to get yourself an allotment. So if you've not hit that subscribe button, do hit it, and then you'll get notified when new podcasts come up. And until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.